Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Northwest Showcase, and I'm your host, Andy West. Our show this afternoon is being sponsored by Day Chiropractic, and I am so excited about our show today. I just, one of the guys that I'd love to have on the radio is Dr. Day, and welcome, Dr. Day.
Welcome. Having me in here is kind of like taking a hand grenade and pulling the pin and still holding it in your hand.
I know.
You don't know what's going to happen exactly.
I know. It's like the
it'll
circus.
be interesting.
I know, like the circus coming to town
That's
or
right.
something, and you get to go and hang out with all the animals, but you're not an animal. No, Dr. Day, welcome. Let me give out your phone number real quickly so people can have that, because we have an awesome special today, and we'll get to that. The phone number for Day Chiropractic, 503-760-7572, 503-760-7572, and you'll find him right there at 3758 Southeast 122nd Avenue. It's right between Powell and Foster. Easy to find, daychiropractic.com. And I am just glad you're here. What's up?
Thank you. Okay, so this we're going to do a Mother's Day Miracle Grow special. So I've been looking outside, and the trees are starting to leaf out now, and the birds are chirping and all that. And I thought, oh man, spring is coming. Now, we just spent this weekend, Karen and I, we had to fly back to Chicago for her brother's wedding. Now, we were stuck in O'Hare on Sunday when they shut the airport down, and we were worried that we weren't going to get back. Now, Karen does taxes and stuff as part of her job, right? So she was going to come to work Sunday night, and then work all day Monday.
Yeah, because she's,
So we were squirming, but the Lord was watching out for us, because our plane, which we were going to ride, had taken off from Portland and flying to Chicago, and then we were going to get on it in Chicago and fly back to Portland. Because they were in the air already, they had been in the air about 10 minutes when Chicago made the decision to stop any flights into Chicago because of the snow in April. Can you believe this? But our plane was already in the air, so they let it continue into Chicago and land. That allowed us then to get out of Chicago. So we were 10 minutes away from having not been able to get back here. And anyhow, but it just reminded me of how grateful we are to have this beautiful weather here. We don't have to deal with snow in the way they do in the Midwest, and it was just an incredible time. But that was part of what kind of framed my thinking about springtime and Mother's Day, and we'll talk a little bit about that, kind of why Mother's Day is important for me a little bit later. But now I went online. I was looking at all sorts of Miracle Grow, because it's an actual company. So I said,
I still remember Paul Harvey in the olden, like 20, 30 years ago, talking about Miracle Grow on Paul Harvey News and Commentary.
Is that right? So really, this isn't an advertisement for Miracle Grow, but the concept is plants will grow if you give them the nutrients and the fertilizer to make them flourish, right? So I've been thinking about how important chiropractic is for our bodies. And we made that commercial, right, which was a lot of fun, because that's framing my thinking for our show today. How can we take you, if you are feeling like a wilted plant, or if you're feeling like you just don't have any more to give, and your kids are asking more of your husband, your job, you're just spent. You don't know what to do. You don't know where it's going to come from. Could you think about our office being your Miracle Grow? And what happens is, when you come in and we start to find out places that energy is being choked off in your nerve system, it's sometimes that you have enough energy, but it just can't get out to you. And if we can find places, and they're often subtle, often not in areas that cause any pain at all, you wouldn't even know you had it. But all you know is that you're tired and worn out, and when you were younger, you bounce out of bed, you could stay up late and get up early and all those things. And maybe now you're looking, if I don't get 8 hours, I can't do my life. And even if you have 8 hours and you're sore and you can't, and so you're in it's a conundrum. So think about our office as Miracle Grow. And so if you're kind of like a wilted plant or something, or you just know you can do more, they come in and we're doing for $39. We'll do a full exam, take any x-rays that are needed. I don't care if you have insurance or not. Most of my patients come in and they're happy to pay what it costs, because I keep my fees affordable, and adjustments $45. This is stuff, we can work this sort of stuff into people's budgets, and they can afford chiropractic care. And if it will make you become a beautiful flower or bush again, figuratively, obviously, wouldn't that be precious? And for those of you who are mothers, if you're tired and worn out, you're trying your hardest to take care of your family, but you're probably not doing as good of a job as you'd be able to if you actually had some fertilizer. So allow me to kind of help boost your ability to flourish and grow and be a beautiful arrangement. Now, something that's going to happen for us is Mary, one of my assistant, is a mother herself, and it's Easter, and she is going down to California to celebrate with her family. Now that puts us in a little bit of a bind. But if you're listening to me today, maybe you got in a car accident or something happened, and you say, "Oh, I want to make an appointment right away." If you call now, I have some appointments on Thursday, tomorrow. But then we're going to encourage you. If you're just kind of curious, we're probably going to encourage you to schedule when Mary gets back. We want her to have a wonderful time with her family, and we're able to deal with, Nancy and I are having to do it ourselves next week. So if you need to get in, call and get in on Thursday when I still have Mary there. Otherwise, we'll probably schedule it the week that Mary's back. Now, and I'll save the, and this is, for those of you who run small businesses or anything, you kind of understand how dependent we are on kind of our key employees. And I know how to run the x-ray machine. I could take an x-ray, but I'm not used to doing it all by myself. So anyhow, so what I did is I went ahead and made the special to go till Mother's Day. Basically, the 9th is the last day we're open before Mother's Day. So if you want to take advantage of this, I'd encourage you to do so.
Yeah, let me give out the phone number once again, 503-760-7572, 503-760-7572. And I'll just say this right off the bat, I appreciate your view on how important moms are. I know you've talked about your mom before, just how good of a lady she is, how she raised her boys, who turned out good.
So, against all odds.
against all odds. And I appreciate that because, you know what? My mom played such a big role in my life, and maybe she's not in it as much as I'd like now.
Right.
But I'll tell you, I adore her. And it's like moms do so much.
Yes. And I think about, and obviously for some people this is a very tender subject. They would love desperately to be mothers, right? But they can't get pregnant. Yeah. There are people who aren't in a relationship that's not going to happen right now, even though that's the yearning of their heart. So I guess my hope when we have something like this, we celebrate mothers. Well, we all had a mother. And if this is a tender point in your heart, I'd like to listen and hear that and understand that for you. And if that's where you're sitting, I was thinking about the role that mothers is this nurturing, and a lot of ladies who wish to be mothers, a lot of times they're very attentive, and they have nieces, and they find a way for nurturing to happen in the people around them. And my prayer is that you will find a way to use this gifting that God has given you, that you can express your love and nurture people. And it means that even us as dads, I'm watching my son-in-laws. Caleb is very attentive to our grandson in a way that I don't think I was. When I look back at it, I think I left a lot for Karen to do. I think I kind of abdicated some of that, but really, if we look at what mothers do, they watch their children very intently. Like if they watch a kid and they see the kid's just quieter than usual or something, right? They'll say, "What's wrong?" Or they'll say, they'll notice. Now, I wouldn't have noticed that, right? I'd be going on, "Hey, you forgot your shoes," or whatever, that sort of thing. Well, Karen would watch, and she would interact and engage the kids and see for these things. Or if they don't eat as much as they normally do, maybe they have a favorite food, but they didn't eat it this time. I wouldn't have noticed that, but Karen would notice that. And and so when we think of this Mother's Day special, that's the other thing is a lot of times the reason mothers find themselves kind of dragged through a knothole backwards is they're watching out for everybody else, and they kind of put themselves very low on the totem pole, right? I need you as a mother. Let me take care of you, because you're taking care of a lot of other people, and sometimes you just get spent, and it's all wonderful and it's your heart's desire, but if you in the process end up becoming just squunched and much less expressive as a result, that's not good for your family either. So it is really, really amazing. Another thing about mothers is they often make the decisions for their family when it comes to healthcare. It's almost always the mom. They pick the doctors. They tend to make sure the kids get in for the doctor's appointment. They're watching the measurements to see if the kids are growing at the right pacing, if they're learning the right things. They listen and, "Oh, that's the first time you said that word." And I go, "Seriously?" It's really amazing how attentive and in tune moms are to their children's development. And I think, like you mentioned, my mom, and she and Dad, they made a decision that they wanted to raise us as children, they obviously wanted us to be honoring to God and to grow in the wisdom and admonition of the Lord, so to speak. So they made sure we learned our Bible verses. We did Bible memory association stuff and went to church and all these sorts of things. So we actually went to a Christian school through 8th grade. So, I mean, there were 5 of us kids, and for Mom and Dad to send us all to Christian school through 8th grade, at the time I didn't understand what that would have meant to our budget, but that would have been a great sacrifice for them. And it really is interesting as you look at and even the way Mom prepared the food, all homemade, all as natural as possible, all that sort of stuff. And I wrote that song, "What Were You Thinking," which we sing. And what I once despised, now I realize all along I had it made. And it's only now as I'm older and I look back at the things that frustrated me. I didn't like the fact that I couldn't trade any food in my lunch for something else that looked better because I had all the natural, Mom had actually ground the flour that she made the bread with.
Yeah.
We had picked the strawberries and the raspberries that she made the jam out of. We had gotten milk from a farmer who had whole unpasteurized milk, and so we would have the cream, which we'd make butter and whipped cream out of, and the milk that we would drink. All these sorts of things. And I mean, I had baggies of dried fruit, for crying out loud. We had a pear tree and a plum tree and all these sorts, and we had to go pick these things. That Mom would have the dehydrators going, and then we would have all winter long. We'd have this dehydrated fruit, and I think about that now. A little bit of dehydrated fruit sounds really good right now.
Oh, it does, especially apricots.
Isn't that nice? So it's kind of interesting, and this is my mom wanting to make sure that we had every advantage growing up. And, we look at this right now with that scandal going on with getting into college, and you think, that's kind of trying to change the circuit. But what about a mom who makes a commitment to her children that day in and day out, she's going to cook the right foods for her children to make sure they get the proper nutrition? My dad, who would make sure we had the vitamins, and if it looked like any of us were getting sick, we'd have to take these vitamins that he would get for us, and down the gullet the vitamins would go, and we'd be getting adjusted. And, it was just part of living life. And they were committed to us, which was really exciting.
Yeah. Let me give out your phone number once again for that Mother's Day Miracle Grow special. It is 503-760-7572. That's 503-760-7572. Are you going to put that on your website as well?
We will put it on the website, yes.
So you can find out all of the details on that right there at daychiropractic.com.
Yes. Yeah, it's so funny because Andy and I, Andy was glad I'm here because it's been a crazy day. It's been a crazy day for me too. I realized as I was getting ready to come here, so wait a minute, we haven't made the flyer up for this thing yet, So I had to go to the office, and Nancy was there slugging away, working hard. I said, okay, we got to make this flyer. So we made the flyer, and so then now it means I've got to put it up on the website. So yeah, so we'll be getting that.
The phone number, once again, 503-760-7572. My wife Lori does the same thing for our son. I'm thankful for her and how she is with our son. If it wasn't for my wife, I don't honestly know if my son would be going to college this fall, because she has helped with the application, with the scholarships, with the financial aid. He's going to Washington State, and she has helped. She goes to all of his games and his track meets. Now I go to his games, but a lot of times I'm here, but she finds a way, and she just loves that boy. I mean, as dads, we love our kids.
We do.
I'm not saying that, but a mother's love is just so precious.
Yeah, and it's so selfless, really. It doesn't matter what else she would rather do. If her child needs something, she will step into that and be there for that child.
Yeah.
And if anyone hurts her baby or hurts her child, she's like, you don't want to mess with the mama mama bear sort of thing.
Right.
It is amazing, isn't it?
Totally. Yeah. So I think we'll take a quick break, but I want to come back and I want to talk about Dr. Day's other job. He's a musician.
Oh yeah.
and I'm looking in. Justin, is it okay if we go to a quick break before I get into? Yeah, because the Day Brothers are going to be out on tour real soon. They're coming to town. So we'll go to a break right now, and then we'll come back. Dr. Day is on the Northwest Showcase. daychiropractic.com. That's where you can go to find out more about this special Mother's Day special. And once again, you can call them at 503-760-7572. 503-760-7572. Dr. Day is here on 93.9 KPDQ. Hey, it's the Northwest Showcase. 93.9 KPDQ, Dr. David Day is here from Day Chiropractic. Always nice to have Dr. Day here. And you'll find his clinic right there at 3758 Southeast 122nd Avenue, just south of Powell, right between Powell and Foster. The phone number 503-760-7572, 760-7572. Or you can go to daychiropractic.com. And while I'm giving out some phone numbers, if you have a question, maybe you have some type of ailment, something that's not feeling right, and you want to talk to Dr. Day, feel free to call us up here in the Portland area. It's 503-786-9390, and the toll-free number 1-800-845-2162.
Yep.
At day, Dr. David Day is a chiropractor, and then at night, he's a musician.
Yeah, in fact, I'm going to play tonight. Yeah.
So tell us what's going on with the Day brothers.
So my brother Daniel lives in Oklahoma. My brother John is a pastor up in the Tacoma area. And we've made a commitment to each other and to the people who love our music that we'll try to do a tour at least once a year. So we have put together our summer tour this year. And I think I'll talk first of all about the event that we are doing at my office, which is called our Party in the Pines.
Yeah.
And so you are all, as listeners of the radio station here, if you want to come, you are all invited. I set up, in the afternoon, it's going to be June 27th this year, so it's going to be a little earlier than normal, but that's the way it is this year. So it's Thursday, June 27th, and it will go from 3 till 6. I bring in a big stage and some tents, and we have love food for you, and it's all provided by the clinic, which is exciting. I'm happy to do that. It's just something that we've made a decision as a clinic to not only provide health care, but actually to reach out to our neighbors and the people who walk by the clinic. When they see this event coming, they get curious and they come in and we feed them, and there's beautiful music. What happens is we don't see any patients then, so just bring some lawn chairs. We've got some beautiful fir trees in the back of the clinic there, and so we set up a kind of a concert, and we'll have ice cream and pulled pork sandwiches, and last year we had some heroes and stuff, so we'll probably have, that'll all come together as we do the final details, but it's best that you understand that that's going to happen, and you want to put that in your calendar. It's Thursday, June 27th from 3 till 6. And it'll be the Day Brothers, and also I've hired another band, which is called Julie and the Waves. So they're kind of it's really a fantastic, Julie Schmidt's a great fiddle player and vocalist.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the guys playing, I mean, it's going to kind of put us to shame in some ways, but we're up for the challenge, you know what I mean? It's going to be a great afternoon. So
that's going to be fun.
So I'd love to invite you to that. So that's something, if those of you who are patients, obviously you let us know that you're coming, but if you're not yet a patient, but you want to come, if you give us a heads up that you're coming and how many you're bringing, that's fantastic. It kind of helps us kind of anticipate what we need to have ready, because I need to make some decisions about how much pork to order and all those sorts of things. So I'll get a pretty good sense of what it will be. Try to let us know within a few days before that you're coming, and that will be real helpful. But what we're going to do, we're going to kick it off. The next time that I'll be on the radio, it'll be here with my brothers. So that will be Wednesday, June 19th.
Great.
So we will be here, and we'll be playing some music, and we'll introduce you to the musicians who are traveling with us and things like that. So we'll be on the show here from 2 to 3. Then we're going to get in our cars and bomb out to Hood River, because we are playing that night at the First Baptist Church of Odell.
Oh, wow.
So that's out in Hood River. So now, and if you want to know, because I'm going to just kind of run down the itinerary, but if you go to thedaybrothers.com, that's our website. So I've posted the whole itinerary there, and it may change. There may be in fact, there's somebody who wants us to play for them, or we have a couple openings that if she can make it work, it's going to work. But right now, this is where it stands. So we'll go out to First Baptist Church of Odell in Hood River on Wednesday night. Then Thursday night, we're going to be at Lynchwood Church of God at 7 p.m. Now that's on 174th, so that's in Southeast Portland there. They have a lot of Southern gospel groups coming through. So the promoter, the guy who plans and schedules those, actually came to one of our concerts last year, and he liked it so much that he went ahead and booked us this year. So that's going to be fun. We've never been there before. We've never been out at Hood River before. But it was one of our listeners here from the radio station who heard us and is a patient and has advocated for us for her pastor. So,
are you guys going to be out when you're in the Hood River area, are you going to be outside?
It'll probably be, I don't think so. Although
Okay.
I'm assuming we're going to be in the church, but this private event that we're doing on Friday is planned to be outside. So different. It depends. We are able to do either, but I would say it's easier to perform in a more controlled environment.
Yeah.
Now, my office will be outside.
Yeah.
So we do some in and some out,
Yeah.
but it's a little bit less. There are less variables when we're set up on a stage and and that sort of thing. So I'm assuming we're going to be inside, but if the church wants us to do it outside, we're happy to do it outside. We just
pretty there.
Yeah, we want to serve them and make it a fun event. Then after Friday night, we've got to get all packed up and up to Mount Vernon, Washington, because we're on at 1:00. This retirement village is where our mother lives, and so there we are. It's the funniest thing, because the song. That we were talking about, what were you thinking song? Well, wouldn't you know it, so we went to this Christian school. Mom is in the retirement community that is kind of owned and operated by kind of the church group that ran the Christian school. So Mr. and Mrs. Eckelkamp also live in that same community, and it was their kids.
What's their name?
The Eckelkamps. So it's a Christian Reform. So it was a Dutch school. If you think about that Fur Island area up in Washington, it's all flat, and all these Dutch people come, and there's all sorts of dairy and tulips and all this sort of stuff.
Wow!
Oh my goodness! So we're gonna. But anyhow, so they're gonna be there. So Mom
awesome.
last year, Mom had them sitting right next to and she expects us to sing this song that's telling the story of their lives. They love it, so it'll be fun. Then that evening, we're going to be at an art studio where they're going to put on they're doing a show, and so we're going to help them kick that off. Then Sunday night we'll be at Summit Park Bible Church in Anacortes.
Wow.
Then we've got to get back down now, and I'm working. What's kind of the hard thing is I'm going to still work like on Thursday, where we're doing Lynchwood. Well, that's the good news is that's in Southeast Portland at 7, right? Well, I'll work till 6. Although that means my brother, they're going to have to get everything ready, and I'll go shooting over there. And then we come back, and I work Monday and Tuesday. Now Tuesday night, I've got to get out to Newburgh by 7. So because we're going to do Newburgh Music Center at 7, and then Wednesday night we'll be at Gladstone First Baptist Church at 7, and that's in Gladstone. And then Thursday we'll do the Day Chiropractic Party in the Pines, that whole festival. Then we have to get packed up and up to the Tacoma area where there's a Veterans Fundraiser concert. They've hired us to play for them a Friday night. I'm assuming that's at 7. I have to get the final details on that. And then Saturday, we're going to do the Long Branch Bluegrass and Barbecue Festival. It'll be from noon to 4. We'll be doing probably a couple sets and bluegrass minstrels. And then we've got a young couple. So the first part of the tour, we've hired a banjo player to travel with us, and who's local here. And Reed Stutz is he's at Berklee College of Music. Well, his girlfriend is going to be traveling with us the second half, so it's going to be kind of fun for us. We're going to have so we'll get to pick music. It's just going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So the second half, so from the Tuesday through Sunday, that we'll have a fiddle player traveling with us. The first half we'll have a banjo player and a guitar traveling with us and stuff. So it's going to be fun. And then Sunday morning we'll do the church service for Long Branch Community Church. So that's all coming up here, which is really, really exciting.
And Dr. Day, so if people are wondering what type of music you do, just if they're not totally familiar with the Day Brothers, and once again, you can find out more right there at
go to thedaybrothers.com. That's a great way. You can also go to my website, daychiropractic.com. If you want to click all our music, we've got 3 CDs, so you can go onto iTunes or CD Baby, and Amazon. Although you can buy CDs where you can download an individual track.
It's like Southern Gospel.
I guess some of it would be, because if you say bluegrass, well, a lot of people don't like bluegrass. Well, we're really not bluegrass necessarily. Like I was talking to my sister, because she and her husband pastored the church in Anacortes, and it's like, well, it's we could call it Americana. Might be a better fit because we love songs that tell stories, that have that tug at your hearts. John's a pastor, Daniel's a chiropractor, and I'm a chiropractor. The songs we write, like my brother Daniel wrote a song about our dad called "Teaching Me to Sing," which it's hard to get through for me to sing. It's about our dad and how he taught us, even though he couldn't read a note of music. He had a beautiful voice. He could harmonize with anyone, and when you sang with him, you sounded better. You know, it's one of those things. And he loved each one of us and sang with each of us. So, and John, as a pastor, one of his parishioners, when her husband was passing away, he kind of bolted up out of bed, out of a sleep, and you know, John wrote, "Going to come sweeping through," because his wife or his widow had actually written down what he said, and then she had given it to John and said, "Could you write a song? This is the last thing my husband said," and so John used that to inspire a song, right? So these, I guess but we love, it's not that we're irreverent, because that's not the right word, but we love words that are kind of songs that are kind of funny too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
You know, like the song I wrote, "I'm Not Fat, I'm Prime." You know, because we were sitting at Roost Chris and having a nice dinner. We realized, oh, wait a minute, the meat, the higher the fat content in the meat, the more expensive it is. So we looked at each other and we said, you know what? We're not fat, we're prime. We have to reframe it. You know, that sort of thing. So those things that are kind of cheeky and kind of fun. You know, well, and we're not opposed to, you know, Tom Dooley, for instance, which is the Kingston Trio, sang that, you know. Yeah. So we look, in fact, we're going to do a song this year called "They're Holding Up the Ladder," which is, you know, the Easter Brothers. It's so there is a Southern gospel kind of flavor to it, but it's like we're straddling the bluegrass world, folk, kind of Americana, Southern gospel, kind of, because there are some shows we'll do nothing but gospel, right? Well, we're in these churches, you know, so our repertoire, although we love like the Stanley Brothers. So if you go back in some of the original bluegrass, a lot of those songs, we were truly influenced to a great degree by their harmonies and things like that. So, but I play the upright bass typically, although I also built an octave mandolin that I play on. Like I wrote a song called "The Stillaguamish River Waltz," which we love to sing when we're up in the the Mount Vernon, Washington area. You know, this is the river up there, and they love hearing that because you know we all hear these songs about the Mississippi River, you know, that sort of thing. But a song that's about the Stillaguamish River, and one of the reasons that's important to us is Stanwood, the town that we grew up, is on the banks of the Stillaguamish River. And when our dad was the mayor, one of his dreams was that the city of Stanwood would somehow find a way to capitalize on that riverbank. It's kind of, we're in a farming community, so it was just the river kind of getting out to the through the slough and out. So nobody ever really thought much of it, but I do think as more people are coming to this and driving to Camino Island, they're going to realize that's an untapped resource, and I think they're gonna start doing more like Dad had dreamed about. So
that's awesome.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's cool. The phone number for Dr. David Day, once again, 503-760-7572. You can make an appointment. You can ask about the Mother's Day Miracle Grow Special. 503-760-7572. What's the special again?
It's $39, and we'll do a full exam. We'll take any necessary X-rays. So I just had a patient. She had been helping move a piece of furniture and kind of pretend she had a hip problem and so forth. She'd been to her doctor. She went once and then it was still hurting, so she had gone in another time. Now at that point, no X-rays had been taken. So it ends up being like a month later. She ends up calling me and coming in. Now I had treated her years before, and it was really tempting to not take new X-rays. But guess what? I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and take a new X-ray. Let me see. You know what I found? I found a compression fracture.
Oh wow.
And so I'd say, okay, we've got to coordinate this with your doctor. And one of the few times I've actually gotten a personal call from her medical doctor, and we talked a little bit. She was so surprised. It was neither of us expected to find that. And I said, I'm not faulting you at all.
Yeah.
I did not think it was going to be there either because she was feeling the pain more in the hip area. I was thinking I was just going to do like a sacroiliac adjustment or something like that, but no, it was a compression fracture. And kind of the fun thing is now, as she's gone on, so this lady, she really just thinks the world of our office. And now as I'm finishing up her treatment, getting her back on her feet, because her doctor wanted her to go see physical therapy and things. She told me on I have Monday or Tuesday, I'm not sure. She said, you know, Dr. Day, I've gone ahead and canceled all my physical therapy appointments. I'm going to just stick with you. So, because it's getting rid of all her pain. You know, it's one of those, and you go, wow, what a blessing. So if you have something that an X-ray will help figure out, like I've got a case right now, a gal, she was in a car accident 2 years ago, and they had taken X-ray, kind of cursory X-rays. I think they just took X-rays of her neck because at the time of the accident, her neck was sore, and then later it was sore lower down, so they did an MRI down there and found a compression fracture T11. You know, so then, but nobody had ever really taken and looked at her in kind of comprehensively. She kind of had gone from specialist to specialist, but it's now 2 years later. She's still hurting, and her life is nothing like what it was before. And this is a young girl. She's in her early 20s, right?
Wow.
And this is someone who was really active, very athletic, all these sorts of things beforehand, and now she can't do anything without hurting. And kind of the conversation, I think, happened since she knew she had the compression fracture. She was afraid that was then good. She couldn't do anything now that had happened. So I ended up taking my own X-rays, and what I realized is, right at the area where the compression was, she had a scoliosis. Now it wasn't bad, and I'll bet the other doctors really didn't think much of it. But I'm trying to figure out, okay, if someone's not getting well, there's got to be something that someone is either not paying attention to or something like that. So I said, well, let's use this information from the X-ray and let me try to design a way to adjust you that would essentially unwind the scoliosis, you know, that sort of thing. And what do you know? Even though, because I've seen her compression fracture isn't that bad.
Right.
And I have a lot of compression fracture cases that I've treated over the years. And it doesn't have to, in fact, I find compression fractures people never knew they had, right? So that tells me that doesn't have to be something that's going to always give somebody problems, because that's just not how it goes.
Right.
If I can figure out how to get her back the way she was, I think we'll be able to get her to heal. And so far, so good. We looked in her eyes yesterday, and she's got more of a smile. You know, it's starting to hope again. We're having how long do you think it'll take? You know, and it's kind of fun because for the first time, she had seen another chiropractor, and he'd done a good job, but just they weren't. I don't think they were. I think it was almost too generic. It wasn't. It really wasn't. You know, because I think that's the problem in chiropractic. We often kind of just do things to kind of loosen people up, and it feels good. Patients love it, and you can be a chiropractor. That's how our dad practiced. That's how my brother practices. But I've kind of, with my technology and stuff, I'm somehow we're getting some of these tough cases, and so I kind of figure if someone's already been around the block a few times, my job is to start looking for the things that probably other people haven't paid attention to, right?
Yes.
So I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I don't have to do what they did. Let me do something different. Let's be informed by what other people have done and assume we have to do something different.
Absolutely.
And if I can do that for a patient, that's what they need from me.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the phone number for Day Chiropractic, and if you want to make an appointment for the Mother's Day Miracle Grow Special, you can just call 503-760-7572, 503-760-7572. You can go to daychiropractic.com. You can find out about the Day Brothers 2019 Summer Northwest Tour at daychiropractic.com as well.
Yeah.
And we'll take a quick break, and then we'll talk about chiropractic.
Yep.
We'll get into some things, find out what's new. You're listening to the Northwest Showcase on 93.9 KPDQ. Hey there, welcome back. This is the Northwest Showcase on 93.9 KPDQ, and it's always nice to have Dr. Day here from Day Chiropractic, daychiropractic.com. That is the website. Phone number is 503-760-7572, and they're right there on Southeast 122nd Avenue, just south of Powell, 3758 Southeast 122nd. Just down the street from my dentist.
Yeah.
And Dr. Day is here, and there's just so much to talk about. And if you have a question, hey, we would love to hear from you in the Portland area, 786-9390 or 800-845-2162. And it's a loaded question, but what's new in chiropractic?
Oh, there's a lot. Yeah, there's no shortage, and I love reading research, and
I know.
You know, it's kind of fun. I've been in practice 30-some years, and having bought the brand new digital X-ray machine, having the thermal imaging, the heart rate variability to actually measure stress, instead of just saying, oh, you must be stressed out, that's useless to somebody. We actually need to measure it and then quantify it and then do some treatment and then see if what we're doing is improving that, you know, and if it is or isn't, that sort of thing. Well, so this article was published actually in January of this year, January 28th of 2019. And it's called Cervical Spine Subluxation Leading to Disco Ligamentous Injury Following a Motor Vehicle Accident, a case report. So they're taking, and what they were doing is they took a young man who was 27 years of age, and he presented to a chiropractic office with whiplash-associated disorder after a motor vehicle accident 4 years prior. Okay, so this kid who's 27, 4 years earlier had been in a car accident. Okay, well, 2 previous MRI studies revealed cervical spine disc bulges and annular fissure, but failed to diagnose cervical vertebral subluxation discal ligamentous instability. Okay, so this guy had been through 2 MRIs, right? And if you, not just 1, but 2, you know, so imagine what that's like. This kid is hurting, and they've documented that the disc bulged and annular fissure. That means they could see some tears in the disc itself. Okay, so the doctors were probably telling him that was the cause of his problem. Well, so an informed consent was obtained from the patient for examination and radiographic examination. So this is, I find myself, like that gal I was talking about with the scoliosis. Yeah. I found that because I took my own x-rays, right? Well, she'd already had an MRI that found a compression fracture, right? So it's almost like in the medical world, that is the kind of the holy grail. You know, that's, so why would you then take an x-ray, right? But why didn't they take an x-ray before? You know what I mean? That's kind of where I go. So,
sure.
But I can't, like, this is a typical example also, where the guy's had 2 MRIs, they show the disc bulge, so the medical doctors are probably saying the problems you're having are from the disc bulge. Well, what they did is a radiographic examination consisting of a 5-view cervical spine series, analyzed by a computer measuring each of the bones as they went in flexion and extension. And this is what we do. Absolutely. I measure someone, let's say someone's rear-ended. One of the things I will do, and I don't care if they've had x-rays at the hospital, oh, they'll take an x-ray, they might take a couple other pictures. But I've never, where they don't do this flexion extension, and that was the way the injury happened. Why don't they then put the neck in extension? Now you have to use your computer and actually measure each bone, right? And then with neutral, and you have to measure the distance. Because what should happen is if the ligaments are all intact, they will allow less than 1 millimeter of movement in each direction, right? And like you'll find, C5-6 moves 2.4. Well, then you know there's too much slop. That ligament is torn. It's allowing it to slide and move around, right? So you've got to get that fixed. But anyhow, so it talks about how they did that, and this research study was looking at the particular measurement tool that they used. But I thought it was a good thing to at least talk about and present here to our audience that if there's something and you're not getting well, one of the first things that should be done is to actually do a flexion extension, replicate the movement of that accident, and see if there's some instability that happened, that the ligaments aren't doing their job in terms of maintaining the stability.
Wow. So
that's kind of cool. If you're in, if this interests you at all, call our office. We can make a copy of this. I've subscribed to the research stuff, so we can get a copy to you.
Yeah.
So here's a case of improved spinal alignment, chronic low back pain, and improved quality of life in a 62-year-old patient undergoing chiropractic care following failed surgical syndrome. Okay?
So they had surgery.
Yes, and it didn't work.
Yes.
Okay, so the purpose of this paper is to report the effects of chiropractic care in a 62-year-old female that presented with a chief complaint of chronic low back pain with concomitant a 25-degree right convex thoracolumbar scoliosis, as well as an L5 discectomy. So they took out the disc that was bulging and they fused L5 to S1. Okay. So imagine, now probably the doctors would say, oh no, don't go to a chiropractor. Now you've had the surgery. Don't let him touch your back, right? They'll say stuff like that. And I go, seriously? You think this is the first time I've seen a scoliosis case or a failed back? I see a lot of you guys, That's when they come. I wish more people would, before they have the surgery, say, you know what? Let me give Dr. Day a month. Schedule that surgery out several weeks, right? Yeah. And let's see if we can be able to get that thing canceled. I'd rather that be, but often the patient goes and has the surgery, and then if it doesn't work or doesn't have the result they're looking for, then they come to see me. But that happens so much in my world that let me deal with that. That's stuff I see all the time. And if you're a medical doctor and you're the one screwing up and doing the surgeries and all that sort of stuff, don't you tell the patient about chiropractic. Let me be the one to decide if chiropractic can help.
And my comment is like, why do you have to be the cleanup guy?
Right. Well,
so and I'm not saying that you're always the cleanup guy,
no.
but really, I hear people saying this to me. Yeah. I need to go have surgery. I'm not kidding. I mean, this really comes up in conversation, especially now that I'm in my 50s. I hear from friends that say, yeah, I got to get this my bulging disc, this and that. And the first thing I say is, have you talked to a chiropractor?
Right.
I'm not even working as an advertiser for Dr. Day. I don't even bring up the names.
Right.
I just say, before you go under the knife, just think about it.
Yes.
Because then they come to you and there's issues and this and that, and then you have to go in there with your broom.
Yeah, and they've already done some things that had it not been there, be an easier thing to deal with.
Yeah.
But part of the problem is, okay, when you get some arthritis forming in your back, and then the doctors often talk, oh, there's bone on bone. That's the problem. There's, I see bone on bone all the time.
I'm sure you do.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's degenerative arthritis is one of the most common things I deal with, and virtually every single person 65 years or older has it's quite prevalent in the body. But we can keep these people functioning just fine without having much, but it does mean you've got to take care of yourself, and you've got to come in regularly. Now, I think the medical doctors look at chiropractic. Let's say you come in once a month or once every 3 weeks. They say, oh, once you go to chiropractic, you have to keep going the rest of your life. They look at that kind of dismissively, like but if you really want to fix it, then you come in and you have the surgery. So I think a lot of people are thinking, well, I don't want to just keep going back and getting adjusted. I'd rather actually fix the problem. That's kind of in their mind. That's kind of how they think of it.
Yeah, but what they're not thinking about is after that surgery, they're going to take pain pills.
Right.
They're going to take, so basically they're doing the same thing as what they're.
Right.
It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me, because I've been treated by a chiropractor,
right.
And I'll tell you what, I did not go back. Right. Now every now and then I do.
Yeah.
But for things that I needed, and I don't know. I'm just. Yeah. Maybe it's because I've gone and I'm
right.
Well,
and the other problem that we run into is there are complications from surgeries, often unanticipated. And then sometimes someone's put on a medication. I mean, my dad's stroke was caused, they did a heart repair, but they didn't want the blood clot to form on the repair, so they gave him a blood thinner. Well, and the blood thinner is what caused his bleeding stroke, right? It's so these things that happen, you have a piece, and so they say, well, you need to then take this medicine from then on, and it leads people down a cascade, and you go, wow, they were never the same from that decision to do that thing, set their life on a different track.
Wow.
But anyhow, so this lady had a failed back syndrome, right? So she was 62 years old and had back pain and so forth. For the patient underwent surgery 20 and 13 years prior to her visit. So she had 2 different surgeries, right? She was on 13 different medications. Well, examination and x-ray revealed the following. I already talked about the curve that goes 25 degrees to the right from T4 to L3. So that means from between her shoulder blades all the way down to about where her belt is, she had a kind of a C-shaped scoliosis. So it's a sideways kind of curve of her back there. And so she sought chiropractic care to improve her quality of life. Things sucked. Well, so they ended up doing, and then the research this is for chiropractors. It kind of talks about what they did, but they actually use chiropractic biophysics, mirror image exercises, and heel lifts. So this way that they approach her is very similar to what I do. The patient was initially seen 2 times a week for 6 weeks, and then once a week for another 6 weeks until the first exam. After the first 3 months of care, a re-examination and new x-rays revealed an improvement of her thermal scan readings from severe to mild. Left high ilium was balanced, posture improved, Cobb angle reduced to 24 degrees. So she went from 25.3 to 24. She had decreased low back pain, improved function, and quality of life. So even though she had had a back surgery and recurring pain from it, she still benefited from chiropractic care, and it's so exciting.
Yeah.
You don't have to be at the now. The other thing I was thinking about, I've got a couple of cases I want to talk about, kind of real briefly here, about cases I've taken care of moms caring for their kids. So one child, her little boy had some really serious breathing problems, and it was so bad he'd been to the emergency room so many times. They actually had a nebulizer machine at their home. She had to check his breathing capacity at least twice a day and all that. He was on 5 different medications, as I recall. But she brought her little boy in to see if I could do anything to help. We were able to help him improve so much that he was able to get off all 5 of the medications he no longer needed.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I'll never forget the day that she told me that she was allowing him to travel with some friends to go down to Disneyland. And
that's so
that
cool.
would never have happened before. So it's really interesting. So let's not just think about car accidents and things like this, or low back pain or things like that. If you've got a kid who's struggling with any health issue, consider that. Another patient who's a mom, kind of similar to some of these things that we talked about briefly. She has a couple kids. She came to me because she was just worn out, and I've taken care of her now. She comes in every 3 or 4 weeks, something like that. But she told me that she's now gone back to school. She's going to live her dream. She wants to be an esthetician. So it's kind of cool. You think about these moms and they're struggling. Their life is so difficult, But when we kind of help their bodies come back together, it's not talking to them like a counselor would. But some of what I did, it's fine. And so I stopped and I said, well, why did you pick that? And this has been my dream. So I want to talk to people about, so what did this? Chiropractic for her has changed and transformed what she can now do. She can now step into her dreams. She would never have been able to do that without chiropractic.
Dr. Day, for people that are maybe in their 60s, 70s, maybe even 80s, and maybe they're thinking to themselves, well, I'm too brittle.
Right, yeah. So we can handle that really effectively.
That's what I thought.
Tools. Oh, yeah. In fact, if you watch, there are a couple patients right now, they're in their 80s and 90s, and I just have them sit on the table, and I have a machine that can do, it's almost like not a jackhammer, that's a terrible word to use, but it has a tap, like woodpecker, sort of thing, and I can control the intensity and so forth and do some range of motion with that. It works out great.
Okay, now before we go, give the Mother's Day special.
So for $39 from now to Mother's Day, we're basically going to do a full workup on you. It's $39, and it'll hopefully be the best $39 you've ever spent. We'll be able to find out if there's a subluxation in your spine choking off your vital nerve flow, and we can see if we can help you live a healthier, more outrageous life.
All right, and the phone number once again for Dr. Day's office, 503-760-7572, 503-760-7572. You can make an appointment. And by the way, check out his website. It's just packed with information, daychiropractic.com. I am hoping to take my daughter Aubrey, who has Down syndrome and some issues, to Dr. Day very soon. And I'm hoping that we can share a little bit on the air on how things are going. It's going to be this summer, but still I'm very, very excited about that. Once again, the phone number for Dr. Day, 503-760-7572. And Dr. Day, if people want to find out when you're performing once again,
go to our website is thedaybrothers.com. And so that's a way for the Day Brothers. But I'll post some things on my website as well. As we get a little closer.
All right, so because there's going to be a great summer tour with the Day Brothers.
And
it's going to be fun. And one of those stops will be here at the radio station, in fact. June 19th, you'll get a concert here on the Northwest Showcase from 2 to 3 with the Day Brothers. And one of the Day Brothers is going to fly in from Oklahoma. And so I can't wait for that. That's one of my favorite shows that we do. It's just going to be a lot of fun. So, all right, once again, the phone number 503-760-7572 for Day Chiropractic. And thank you, Dr. Day.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's always fun. I'm all energized. ready to take
on your step.
That's right. Ready to take on the day. And our Northwest Showcase sponsored by Day Chiropractic this afternoon on 93.9 KPDQ, where you can hear Georgine Rice at 4 o'clock this afternoon.